Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our family and friends updates. Summer is finally here, and I hope we are all taking some time to enjoy the sunshine. My name is Petronila Ndebele. I'm the Director of Strategic Communications and Stakeholder Relations at Community Living Toronto, and I'm pleased to be facilitating today's program. Before we begin in the spirit of reconciliation and respect, would like to begin with the land acknowledgement. We would like to acknowledge that the land we are meeting on is the traditional territory of many nations, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabe, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat peoples, and is now home to many diverse First Nations, Inuit, and Métis peoples. We also acknowledge that Toronto is governed by Treaty 13, signed with Mississaugas of the Credit, and the Williams Treaty signed with multiple Mississaugas and Chippewa bands. We also acknowledge that we are all treaty peoples, including those who came here as settlers, as migrants either in this generation or in generations past, and those of us who came here involuntarily, particularly as a result of the transatlantic slave trade. Today, we pay tribute to the ancestors of those of African and indigenous origin and descent. Before we begin, we would like to share that June is a month rich with celebration and reflection. We recognize that it is the National Indigenous History Month, Pride Month, and other meaningful observances which remind us of the important role that diversity, inclusion, and respect play in shaping a vibrant and welcoming community. This month at Community Living Toronto, we also took the opportunity to recognize and celebrate our amazing direct support professionals who are at the heart of the work we do, and also support friends and families whose lives they touch every day. On the agenda today, we have insights on our family experience survey, our work on housing inclusive communities. We are also going to have an update on community participation supports and respect, and of course, our much loved Community Unplugged segment. A few housekeeping issues before we begin. Please feel free to use our chat function to share your thoughts or ask any questions, or even if you want to make a comment. We would love to hear from you and keep the conversation going throughout the meeting. Kindly let Atam Peredurin know if you're experiencing any technical issues, and he should be able to assist you. And a special reminder to all our presenters today that Minal will be changing the slides, and if at any point would like the slides changed, please let you know. And without any further ado, I would like now to invite Heather Dawson, Director Quality and Risk, to share results from our recently concluded Family Experience Survey. Heather, over to you. Thank you so much.
Hey, thank you so much, Patty, and I'm really pleased to be here today. And I really look forward to this opportunity to share results from our most recent Family Experience Survey. Each year, we ask families to tell us honestly how we're doing, and this is the third year that we've conducted this survey using the same set of survey questions. This is our chance to share with you what families have told us and what we'll do next. It's the voice of the family that drives this conversation. As this is the third year that we've run the Family Experience Survey, we can now see how things are changing over time, so it's not just a single snapshot. So a bit about the methodology. The survey was conducted by Leger Research using the same methodology as in previous years, and it was completely confidential. During February and March, Leger researchers reached out to over 900 families or other affiliates of People Supported, and these people were part of one of 8 CLTO programs in 2025. 225 family members of 208 people supported responded to the survey, either via telephone interview or online. Leger researchers then compiled the results and the analysis. And if you were one of the 225 respondents, we thank you so much for taking the time to share your opinion. So next slide, please. So why do we conduct this survey? Why does it matter? It's because families are one of our most important partners. Your feedback keeps the people we supported at the center of everything we do and holds us accountable for all of our programs. Your voice shapes our decisions and helps us guide our planning and priorities and how we design services. And listening regularly strengthens our partnership. It builds trust and keeps the communication open. Next slide, please. So I'll now move on to the results, and this is the big picture. The big picture is strong and positive across the board. 95% of families report positive interactions with our staff. 87% of families report that staff are responsive to questions and concerns, and 92% feel that CLTO creates a community where everyone belongs. We're especially proud that 81% of families agree that CLTO helps people move out of poverty. This is up from 70% last year, and that's a real impressive and measurable progress. We're also honest about where there's room to grow. 74% of families say we meet or exceed expectations, and 72% are satisfied with programs and services. While these are good numbers, we want them higher. And I'll come back in just a few moments to talk about how we're going to focus on doing that. Next slide. So here are a few more here's a more detailed picture of what's working and where you'd like to see more. In terms of what's working well, families are reporting warm relationships with staff, a genuine sense of belonging, and support for health and well-being of people supported, and staff who respond when families reach out. And in terms of where you'd like to see more, we're hearing that you're looking for earlier and more clear planning for life transitions of people supported. You're looking for more emphasis on monitoring outcomes and progress towards the goals and dreams of people supported. And you're looking for help in finding community-based or other programs that might be appropriate for your loved ones. And again, we appreciate this feedback, and this is what's driving our next steps. So next slide, please. And we know that behind every number is a family, and we value comments from the survey. It's the comments from the survey that really bring the numbers to life better than any statistic. These comments show deep gratitude and trust. For example, families telling us that their family member is happy, growing, and genuinely feels at home. And we also hear clear, fair requests, like helping to find the right program and a little more variety. There are numerous comments, and these are just a few that I've selected. We take these suggestions seriously, and we take our requests seriously as a praise. And again, you'll see these reflected in what we plan to do next. So the next slide. So what are our next steps and where are we going with these results? Over the coming year, we will be enhancing our focus on the family journey and customer experience. Specifically, we're going to be focusing on making every interaction responsive, respectful, and easy. We'll be emphasizing progress you can see, ensuring clear personal goals and regular updates, and we're ensuring that these are set together and focused on measurable outcomes. And we're going to be focused on planning to ensure that families feel supported for life transitions and changes that occur in the lives of people supported. So this is just a very high level summary of what we've heard and consistent messaging over the past 3 years and how we're going to be moving forward with your ideas. So again, we appreciate your feedback, and we will be continuing to reach out in a variety of ways with families over the next coming months to help us move these ideas forward. And that's it for my report.
Thank you so much, Heather. It's very impressive to see those positive results and the positive interactions between our families and staff. And we thank all our families for their feedback, and we look forward to you continue to bring this work forward. So thank you so much for that. It is quite rewarding and encouraging indeed. Thank you. And now it is my pleasure to welcome Brad Sanders, our CEO, and Mary, our CLTO influencer, as well as our board member. They are going to have a conversation in recognition of National Accessibility Week. And Mary and Brad, over to you. Mary, welcome. Thank you so much, and I hand this session to you, Brad.
Thanks, Petty, and Mary, good to see you. You're just on mute. So if you unmute yourself, we can jump right in. There
Can
you
you
go.
hear me now?
Can hear you perfectly.
Perfect.
All right. Thanks for chatting. Always good to catch up. You've had a busy 2026, so I thought we'd cover some ground but maybe just to start, how's your summer going?
My summer is going fantastic. I'm enjoying the coolness and it's not being too hot.
Okay.
It's been amazing.
Okay. Now that's about to change from being cool to it's going to get warm in the next few days. Got any plans to keep yourself from overheating?
Oh, absolutely. Tomorrow I get to spend the day at Shadow Lake.
Okay.
I never spent time up there, so it's going to be the first time experience to actually spend the day up there.
Okay. Are you able to get out of the city much during the summer or is this okay, good. So I'm glad you're going to be able to do that. And you mentioned that your son was there as well.
Yes, he was up there last week, the first week, and he's been going there for 23 years. He knew Gary,
Okay.
and so he's like, what would I say, furniture.
Okay. Well, he's more than I don't know. Is Gary furniture or your son? I think because if it's your son, he's certainly more than. Yeah.
I think Gary and Tyler are both old furniture and
Okay.
stuff like that.
That's good. It's a good analogy, but I'm glad your son Tyler had a good time.
Yes, he did, and he's actually going up there again for another week.
Okay, excellent. Excellent. I hope that goes well. And I know tomorrow there's a 40 something % chance of rain. I'm sure 40% is just the same as 0, so I'm sure you'll be fine.
Yeah, looking forward to it. I haven't swam in the water for the last 20, 30 years.
Wow. Okay. So
So
maybe you do that, maybe get a boat ride, some stuff like that. That'll be a nice day away from the city.
absolutely, I'm looking forward to it. And I'm actually going back up there again July 28th
Okay.
while my son is up there.
Okay, excellent. Excellent. That'll be fun. That'll be fun. So let's dive into what you've been up to in 2026. So you wear a lot of hats with community living, and then you're also doing a lot just in volunteering and other work that you're doing. Tell us what you've been up to. What's been going on this year?
Okay, well, first of all, I mean, maybe some of you don't know that I've been in a wheelchair for the last 13 years. I've been in a wheelchair. I had an injury in November 2013, and now I'm permanently in a wheelchair. So I've been dealing with that. But for March 30th or March 31st, I got to experience the Rick Hansen Foundation for 2 days with another influencer. And it was the most amazing event. And it was a great experience to listen to people and different organizations being part of it and getting ideas, which is great.
Yeah, Farah's just in the chat and mentioned that she was there as well with you.
But yeah, Yeah.
Yeah. What is the Rick Hansen Foundation?
It actually it started with Rick Hansen because apparently he was in a wheelchair many,
Hmm.
many, many, many years ago, and
Yeah.
he found a lot of struggles, and he worked with different organizations to find a way to change things to
Right.
make it easier for people in wheelchairs.
Right. So, and the Rick Hansen Foundation, I guess, is looking at establishing accessibility standards
Yeah.
across Canada, and they've really become quite prominent, really leading that area across the country. And your and FAIR's participation at the conference this year was to learn about what they're doing and also contribute your experience and suggestions.
Yeah.
What was the biggest takeaway, or what was the biggest thing that you learned or appreciated from your couple days at the conference?
Well, the one thing was the person, I don't remember his name. The guy was
Yeah,
speaking, and the one thing he said, and I experienced this, is that people in wheelchairs can't just assume to go out in the community
right,
because they have to spend half an hour planning their routes, planning their day. Is the weather okay? Is there snow on the ground? Are elevators working? Is the buses or subway um, working? Because if if elevators are shut down, then you have to plan your trip differently. If
right,
buses are not operating or something, you have to plan your trip different. Then you have to depend on Wheel-Trans, and you have
right,
to book Wheel-Trans 7 days in advance.
right. So 7 days in advance, that makes it hard to do things sort of at the last minute or spontaneously.
Yes, and if there's snow on the ground, then you're stuck. You're trapped in your home.
Yeah. So with that observation and what else you learned at the conference, you're also bringing some of that expertise to work that we're doing in our Lawson project in Scarborough. Do you want to talk about what your involvement is with Lawson?
Well, when we met with David, we just started talking about what the plan was. And then after that, during the Rick Hansen, I actually met with David and I
Yeah.
actually met with the architect. And she
Okay.
wanted my expertise because I'm living in a such independent living. And from my experience in my own apartment, she wanted me to give her what the unit should look like,
Right.
wideness, what the washroom should look like, how to get in there, counters being lower, oven being lower.
Right.
Because my oven, I have to reach up high and I can't use it independently.
Right.
So, we're helping design the unit.
Okay. And Lawson, just most people will know this because we've been at it a number of years. But Lawson will be a community living Toronto owned rental building. And we just about a month ago got approval from the City of Toronto for what we can build. So we can go up to 29 stories and something like 280 or 90 units we can build. A number of those units will be for supportive housing for people with intellectual disabilities. And the phase we're at now is designing what the whole building will look like. And as you can imagine, as people can imagine, there's a lot of work that goes into that. And
Yeah.
you're one of the people that is helping us gather experience and make suggestions for us around how we can do the building well. And just a bit of an advertisement. We are doing consultations around the city over the summer that people can also give their input to what they would like to see in the building as well. Did I catch all that right from your understanding, or is there anything you'd add to that?
Yeah, the month of July and one day in August, we are doing workshops in person and virtual uh,
Okay.
in the month of July. So I'm looking forward to that, to meet with David and all them.
Great. And Farah pointed out that the workshops are both in person and virtual, and we're doing them across the city.
Yeah.
Well, the virtual ones will all be just online, but and then Artemis thrown in a link to the project and the status update. So that's really really good that you're helping there with that. Now, the Rick
Yeah.
Hansen thing, I'm assuming you met some people, learned some stuff, made some connections. We're trying to go for a gold standard, which is one of their standards with our Lawson building. Is that something you think that would be helpful, or what was your perspective on after spending 2 days sort of listening to designers and people talk about accessibility?
Well, actually, I think it's great that that they want to make buildings or whatever it is more accessible, which I think is that I guess over the years we got lost in the crowd, and now
Yeah.
now, they're opening up and saying, you know what, we need live experience to say what their input is. And I think it's very important.
Good. Yeah, we're going to try our best to
Yeah.
make sure that this building is as accessible as we can make it.
Yeah.
And we're depending on people like yourself and Farah and others to give us guidance and your perspective on how we should do it the best way.
Absolutely.
Good. Now so that was Rick Hansen and the work that you're doing, providing input and advice to us. What else have you had on your plate in 2026?
Well, month of April, I think it was April, I got a chance to meet with the Scarborough Council to get the approval for the zoning
Right.
for Harold Lawson, and we were actually we were supposed to speak at 9:30. They didn't take us till 3:45 at night.
I shouldn't laugh. So that's the Scarborough Community Council, and
Yeah.
to get the approval from the city, the first and most important step around getting that approved by council is going to this local Scarborough Community Council, and you and Gary Pruden,
Yeah.
our past CEO, attend, because Gary lives in Scarborough and you know the project well, attended to speak on our behalf if there were any questions. So I shouldn't smile, but I gather from people that do this a lot that those kinds of delays in those processes are pretty typical. So two things. Sorry that you had to wait for, was that 6 hours? But thank you for waiting for 6 hours, because it was important that we got that approval.
Well, you know what? I felt that it was important to stay on because of the fact that I'm part of the board. I'm part of this Harold Lawson project, so it was important to make that commitment to stay on.
Good. Well, it was a big commitment. So thank you. And it went, once you finally came up, how long did the presentation and discussion take?
About 10-15 minutes.
So you waited, sorry, again, I should laugh, but you waited 6 hours for a 10-minute presentation. Well, thank you. You have our gratitude for sure.
Not a problem. Like I said, I had to do it, and it was important, and I'm glad I did.
You might as well be cheerful and happy and optimistic about the time then, because it doesn't do any good to get upset and grumpy, I guess, eh?
No, absolutely not.
Yeah.
You know what? I was knitting, I was crocheting, I ate lunch, it was
Good.
worth it.
Good.
Because
Excellent.
we got the approval. So
We got then that's the key thing, right? That's the key thing. When we're building this and when we're getting to design it and that those 6 hours will seem a distant memory. So, but thank you. So that was April, Scarborough City Council, and then it was approved by the council in full in May. And then, so we're all set there. What else have you been up to?
Okay, in May, we actually went to Queen's Park
Uh-huh.
the day of the legislature, and I got to speak at the reception,
Yeah.
and I got the biggest applause,
I would agree that you did.
and that was an amazing experience.
Hmm. And that's our day at where once a year Community Living Toronto co-hosts with Community Living Ontario.
Yeah.
We call it sort of a lobby day, but it's really going and meeting with our elected representatives at Queen's Park, talking about issues that we're facing. And then at the end of the day, from sort of 5 to 7, we host MPPs and their staff and other people, including the minister and members from the opposition, to talk
Yep.
about their perspective, say nice things to us,
Yeah.
and hear their perspectives. So you gave a very powerful speech that was really well received.
Thank you. Yes, and Jonathan had me meet with one of the MPPs. I don't remember her name.
Okay. Jonathan, you want to chime in on the chat and say who Mary met with, if you can remember? How did you find being in that building? Queen's
You know
Park.
what? My wheelchair, it was perfect.
Okay.
No
So it's
problem
accessible
getting in.
and yeah,
Yep.
excellent. Excellent. So that was day at the legislature. What else? What else did Billy Pang? That was who Farah thinks you met with. Does that ring a bell?
But I don't remember.
Well, it's a mystery. We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
So
And
what
then,
else? Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Okay, then the end of May, we were at the the one at Shepherd and Leslie. I thought,
Oh, the volunteer appreciation or
yes,
leaders in
we did
philanthropy. Yeah.
Lunson. That's who I met.
How?
Um,
Yeah.
yeah. And then in June, we went to the Patron Council,
Hmm.
and me and Erica got to speak at the
Okay.
council.
Now that was in a cool venue. I should chime in. Jonathan has said it was Aislinn Clancy, who's a Green Party
Yes.
MPP from Kitchener. So that's
Yeah.
who you met with. The Patrons Council. Talk a little bit about what that was and what your role was there.
Well, my role was, because I'm part of the board,
Mhm.
and I got to speak about a little bit about my experience and what I've been through,
Yeah.
and I actually got to meet John Tory, which was
Yeah.
an amazing
Yeah.
experience.
John is the chair of our Patrons Council, so he hosted the evening.
Yes, which was an amazing experience, and I loved the venue. It was very homey.
Yeah. Which is funny to say about a big bank building. It was the 68th floor or something, and we had a great
Yes,
view of the city
yeah,
and met some good people. We welcomed some new members to our Patrons Council
yeah,
as well, including a former minister of ours, Todd Smith, and a number of other people.
yes. It was an amazing event.
Yes, good, good. And the accessibility at BMO or First Canadian Place, how did you find that?
Perfect. It was
Good,
fine.
good,
Yeah,
good.
and the fact that people were there to help and
Yep.
all that, it was really nice.
Good, excellent, excellent. Now that I don't know if this is the final thing that you did, but the final thing that I've got on in my memory was you were also participated. You were invited to speak on a panel with a group of other people at a conference. Do you want to talk about what was that about?
Okay, so June 10th, we me, Hannah, Amanda, Erica, and Jenna, we
Yeah.
went to London, Ontario,
Okay.
to do a keynote at for the DS Tech conference,
Right.
and it was so amazing. It was the first time I actually got out of Toronto since I've been
Okay.
in wheelchair.
Oh,
So
wow. Okay. I didn't know that.
yeah, so spending the night in a hotel, first time independently on my own. It was amazing experience.
Okay.
The conference went really, really well. Everybody loved the keynote. They spoke about it, and the videos that we presented. It was
Good.
really nice. And then I got to speak at another conference for the AI in the
Okay.
afternoon with
Okay.
the Centennial College
Oh,
students.
one of the workshops, where they
Yeah.
talked about or the project with Centennial College. With your keynote, what did you talk about? What did you say? So that was a group of developmental services agencies from across the province coming together to talk about tech and opportunities and challenges and AI, as you said. What was the topic that you covered in your
Um,
keynote?
we talked about the different technology and how we depend on technology, but sometimes technology doesn't always work
Yeah.
for us. We told our story, our life experience. And then I talked about a little bit about the AI, but I didn't give too much away.
Right.
Um, so each of us told our story.
Excellent. Excellent. Um, so you've been keeping busy since we last chatted on one of these forums. I mean, I see you a number of times a month, but it's good that you're keeping busy, engaged, and sharing your experience to help us do a lot of stuff better than we are currently doing. So thank you for that.
Absolutely. I
Yeah,
love to be busy,
good.
and you know the age that I'm at, it just goes to show you it doesn't matter what age you are, you still can be involved in the community.
Yeah, excellent. That's good advice. Doesn't matter what age you are, you can always be involved. Anything else that you've got for people that are out there looking to be volunteering more or contributing more? What have you found to be helpful or important or getting involved and supporting things that are important to you?
Just getting out there, just make yourself knowing that you're available. You got to keep trying. I mean, there's different things that are going on, but you have to find your you where you belong, because I mean
Right.
everybody belongs. Everybody has a right to be part of something.
Great.
And I
That
mean, I even run a knitting group every
right.
week at the junction every
Right.
week. So, um, you know, in my building, there's a lot of people in wheelchairs, but they don't want to get involved in doing things.
Right.
And it's sad to be in that position.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, you
It
got to
is. Well,
keep.
you're quite courageous and brave. I've watched you sort of do the things that you're talking about, but also I've watched you sort of at the functions we're at where you'll approach people and you'll call people out on issues that aren't that you've got a perspective on that people can do better on. You're never afraid to put yourself out there, talk about your story, share your ideas, and challenge people when they think they can do better or we can do better as a province and as an organization. So thank you for that commitment and for your boldness around supporting what you believe in.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Okay, enjoy Shadow Lake. We are fingers crossed that it won't rain tomorrow, and I hope the rest of your summer goes really well also.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm looking forward to it tomorrow.
Great, excellent, excellent. All right, Petronella, back to you guys.
Thank you so much, Mary, for sharing your experience. And I'm sure the team at Shadow Lake is waiting to have you tomorrow. Please enjoy this weather, seems to be good. And thank you so much for continuing to represent Community Living Toronto and for your patience for waiting for 6 hours. We got the results. We appreciate that. Thank you, Brad and Mary, for that.
You're
Our
welcome.
next Our next presentation is from Jonathan Bradshaw, who is our Director for Advocacy and Strategic Partnerships. He's going to provide an update on housing and the work we have been doing as we continue to work towards our mission of building inclusive communities. Jonathan, over to you. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much, Petty, and thank you, everyone. It's great to be here with you all today. My name, as Petty said, my name is Jonathan Bradshaw, and as many of you know, for some time, Community Living Toronto has been exploring new and different ways in which we can provide housing for the people we support. And so one of the things I want to talk to you about today is one of those ideas. So we have a proposal. It's called The Power of Place. It's a policy paper or green paper, and that we've written that looks at another option around providing more housing in the community. So I'm going to sort of go over a little bit around the problem we're trying to solve, the barriers that we're facing, and the solution that we're proposing. You can go to the next slide, please. I don't think I need to tell anybody here on this call that Canada is facing a bit of a housing crisis, and finding housing, especially affordable housing, has become harder for everyone in Canada. But for people with intellectual and developmental disabilities and their families, the challenge is even greater. And you can see on this slide that housing really affects people with disabilities much more severely than the general population. Many people face long waiting lists for supportive housing or struggle to find housing they can afford while still getting the supports they need. And as you can also see here, it's estimated that approximately 6% of the population live in poor housing need. Well, it's double for people living with disabilities. They're twice as likely to experience housing insecurity, and they're more likely to experience poverty and social isolation. So I think it's estimated that about 19% of those in homeless shelters in Toronto have an undiagnosed developmental disability. And we see this every day with the families who worry about what housing options will be available for their loved ones in the future. Now, we've had some success. You can go to the next slide, Manal. We've had some success, and we've spent more than a decade looking at new and innovative ways we can house people. And so right now, with our inclusive vertical communities, we support almost 200 people in 8 different buildings with mixed vertical communities where neighbors include families and young professionals and seniors, as well as people with disabilities. And people live in ordinary buildings and use the same entrances and amenities as everyone else. And they're a part of the life of a real full community. Now, obviously, this model that we do isn't for everyone, but the results have been incredibly positive for the people that it is for, and for the communities themselves. And so the policy paper I mentioned, we're hoping we can actually build on the success that we've had and what we've already learned from these successful experiences. Go to the next slide, Manal. So where we are right now, the biggest barrier that we have to kind of expanding this model in the way that we'd like to expand it is actually with the federal government and with their federal financing rules. And currently, government-backed mortgages for multiple units under one mortgage are designed to be on an entire floor of a building or a whole building. And obviously, that's not what we're looking for. That we don't want to have units that are an entire floor or an entire building. That's sort of the opposite, really, of what we're trying to do. They also weren't designed to be used in these federal programs, weren't designed to be used in a condominium setting, which, despite the fact that we're seeing a lot less condos being built right now, it still represents just under 80% of available housing in cities across Canada, like Toronto. And so really these financial rules, what we found is they were created when the majority of housing being built in Canada was a single family home and maybe some rental apartments. And it hasn't really kept up. These rules haven't really kept up with the reality that we're facing today. The next slide, please. So what we're proposing is really very straightforward. Instead of needing a separate mortgage for every individual condo unit, an organization or a not-for-profit organization like Community Living Toronto could have one mortgage that covers all of its units throughout a building. And those homes can be spread throughout the building rather than grouped together in one floor. And we sometimes call this the checkerboard approach, which we've used in inclusive vertical communities, because then residents are really mixed throughout a community rather than being all clustered together. And that means people are really, truly part of the community, and we avoid segregated settings. And if you go to the next slide, this actually shows you very graphically what we're proposing. It would be a portfolio of scattered units under a single mortgage. And I think this image really captures sort of the heart of what we're trying to do. So the question really goes, obviously this has been an issue for some time. Why do we want to do this now? And if you go to the next slide, this is an important time. The federal government's created Build Canada Homes, which its mandate is to be creating more affordable homes and community-focused housing across Canada faster. And this creates a real opportunity to make changes such as the one we're proposing. And our proposal fits really well with the goal or the stated goal of helping mission-driven organizations like Community Living Toronto create more housing faster. And so really the window of doing something like this and this type of change is open right now. Next slide, please. And we would see the benefits of this change very quickly. A lot of practical benefits. It lowers costs because organizations don't have to arrange and manage many different mortgages for units. It reduces risks. Housing is then spread across many homes rather than relying on a building or a single floor. And it allows organizations to create housing faster because they can purchase existing units as well as when they become available, rather than waiting years for entirely new developments to be built. Most importantly, it means people can get homes sooner. And again, if you go to the next slide, Vinod. Our recommendation, again, very straightforward. We're asking the government with this policy paper, the federal government, and through the federal government, the Canadian Mortgage and Housing Corporation, or CMHC, to create a mortgage program specifically designed for nonprofit organizations supporting marginalized communities. And it would allow a mortgage on multiple units throughout a building, even if they're physically scattered across multiple floors, provided that they're sort of consolidated under a single entity. And this would make it easier, again, for organizations like Community Living to create more homes in communities across Canada. And if we go to the next slide, the impact of this proposal would be significant. From an economic perspective, it would help what is now a struggling condominium market. It would lower costs for organizations so that some not-for-profits that might not otherwise have been involved in housing might consider it, which would create more opportunities for housing. And it ties directly to federal and provincial goals across the country for more housing with a diverse population with diverse needs. It would also help us with our Lawson project. And most importantly, this proposal would help ensure that there would be more opportunity for people with intellectual and developmental disabilities to live in neighborhoods and communities. And so next slide. And so would just close out with saying that thank you so much for your time today, for letting me talk about this a little bit. This is right now just an idea. It's something that we're working to have a conversation with government, other housing organizations across the country and others. But we believe it has the potential to really open new doors for more inclusive housing across Canada. And I know that this was a lot of information and there's probably more questions, but I'm always happy to discuss this further with anyone at any time. So thank you again, everyone, and hope you have a great rest of the day.
Thank you so much, Jonathan, for painting a picture on how we can continue to create more inclusive communities for the people we support. And if there are any questions, please keep them in the chat. And Atam has shared a link to where you can find more information about the Green Paper. So thank you so much. We'll continue to provide updates on this important topic. Our next update, which is going to be the final update for today, is going to come from Flora and Athena. They're going to talk about some of the programs that they have in store for community participation, supports, and respite during summer. I will now hand it over to you. If you can kindly introduce yourselves and please let us know what is in store for summer. Lots of exciting activities coming up. Over to you, Flora.
Absolutely. Thanks, Petty. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Flora, and my My colleague Athena and I will be presenting this afternoon updates from CPS and Respite service stream, and we are delighted to share a lot of exciting events happening during the summer and what we've done over the past couple of months. The next slide, please, Manal. Thank you. So throughout the month of May, we celebrated Community Living Month, and we participated in the We All Belong campaign across CLTO and beyond. Our CPS teams took part in lots of fun activities, including arts and crafts, music, dancing, great food. You got to have great food, and lots of laughter to go with that. We also created opportunities and space for people to share what belonging truly means to each of them. The month-long celebrations ended with the mixed dance, where our very own CPS Band of Hearts performed their original song, We All Belong. The audience sang along, making it a truly memorable evening. Everyone went home with a We All Belong hat and t-shirt, thanks to our generous CLTO amazing communications team, Minal and Artem. Really appreciate that. And on other note, I would like to just recognize or acknowledge the communications team and congratulate them, Minal, Artem, on an incredible We All Belong campaign this year, which earned them 2 prestigious awards, gaining national and international recognition. Well done, well-deserved team. So next slide, please. Our outdoor adventure at Shadow Lake. Thanks, Mary, for saying that it was enjoyable. This is what she was referring to. So our Shadow Lake camp season is here upon us, and we're thrilled to share some options that are out there. One new option is the outdoor adventure that Mary mentioned. If you wanted to try camp and you're not ready for overnight stay, this is a good option for you. It's every Tuesday for the full day, fun at the lake. Included in the cost is transportation. Pickup is at Fairfax or the East Mall. Lunch is provided, and it's at a staff support ratio of 1:4. Registration is on My Community Hub, and there's still spaces available, including tomorrow's trip, and the adventure runs through until the end of August. Just bring your water bottle, your hat, your sunscreen, your bathing suit, and join us for a fun day at Shadow Lake. Don't forget to register. Next slide, please, Minal. So another great camp option is the Steps to Independence Week. It's designed for people who want to build confidence, improve life skills, increase independence, all while making lasting memories. It offers support at a ratio of 1:8 and is ideal for individuals who can participate more independently. Along with the traditional camp activities, participants can take part in morning workshops that focus on independence and also skill building. Spaces are still available for August 16th to 22nd and August 23rd to the 29th. Again, registration is available through My Community Hub, and we hope to see you at the lake this summer. Next slide, please. Athena?
Thank you, Flora. Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. My name is Athena. Nice to see you all. So, fee for services. We have summer adventure day trips from Community Junction. On July 8th, you're going to visit Little Canada. On July 15th, you're going to Sunside Beach. July 22nd, you're going to Tall Ship Pajama Boat Cruise, which is a really fun. I recommend. And July 29th, it's going to be Range Ridge Farm. And August 5th, it's going to be Arcadia Earth. And August 12th, it's going to be City Sightseeing Bus. Each of these activities is going to cost $125, which with the cost of the transportation and everything. And they always happen on Wednesday. It's going to be sort of a full day activity from 9:30 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. All along these activities, all fee for service through the summer is happening at Community Junction, East Mall, Fairfax, and Finch location. If you want to check all our programs, you can go to my community hub. And if you have any question, you can just reach out to me. I'll drop my email here. Or if I don't have the answer to you, I'll find the answer for you and pass it to you. And Toronto East End. So I am running Clay Collective Lab at Foster Connections on Mondays, starting next week, July 6th, from 2:30 p.m. to 4:30 p.m. And for the next 5 weeks, I'll be running painting around the world. Same time, same days on Mondays. We're gonna explore different type of arts, different cultures through different type of arts, for example, abstract art, dot paintings, and etc. And we have Art Without Borders at Foster Connections on Tuesday from 1:30 to 3:30 p.m. Lisa Fong, and our great teacher, is gonna be with our participants and walk them through the steps of painting. And as we all know, every artwork is different. So everyone is gonna create their very own piece of art, and then they can bring it home. Next slide, please. Perfect. So the mixes. For June, we had great summer back dance party at Junction. Then we had our first barbecue for the summer at Sibley location, which is 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. And we had our mix, which is on the last Friday of the month, from 7 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. at Fairfax location. For July, we're gonna have sort of different programs. You're welcoming summer. It's gonna be Sunset Sounds at Community Junction, which is from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. on July 15. And we have Summer Social Barbecue again at Sibley location from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. Please feel free to come join us. And you can also check these programs on my community hub, or you can always try to pay in cash if it's not accessible for you for the mixes. And we have social and game evenings on July 30, which is a Thursday, from 3:30 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. at Fairfax location, which is going to be so much fun. I'll be there as well. So if you have any questions, please reach out to me. For August, we're having Under the Stars dance party at Community Junction, again on Wednesdays from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. And our summer fun barbecue for August 20th, which is going to be a Thursday from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. at Sibley location. And our last social and game evening for August 27 from 3:30 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. It's going to be at Fairfax. I'll be there. If you have any question about any of these mixed events or fee per service, please feel free to reach out to me. And next slide, please. There we go. You guys probably have heard from TIFFs, which stands for Try It On for Size. What is TIFF? TIFFs is a one-year program designed to assess and develop your skills, confidence in semi-independent living. Working closely with you, your participant, family, and the TIFFs team. We are going to develop a 4-step process plan. Each step builds on prior knowledge and offers a practical experience from cooking up to staying overnight at the end of this program. If you have any question about TIFFs, feel free to contact TIFFs Toronto at cltoronto.ca. You can also check our website. There are great information about TIFFs on there. And if you want to sign up for TIFFs, please feel free to check my community hub as well. Next slide, please. Perfect. Now I'm going to pass it to Flora. Thanks for listening.
Thanks, Athena. So yes, wide variety of offerings for the summer. So I would say register as soon as you can because spots get filled up quite quickly. As always, if you have questions or just want to reach out and chat about more of what these offerings entail, please reach out to us. We can be reached by phone at the number on the screen, or you can contact us at our email at cps@cltoronto.ca, or visit our microsite, www.cpsandrespite.ca. And on our microsite, you will find our community calendar where you can discover lots of activities, events, free and feed events that you can sign up for. So have a look and explore our website and stay in touch. Thank you.
Wow, thank you
Petty?
so much, Flora and Athena, for that informative update. And as you heard, they really told us of so many activities that have taken place in the past few months, and some of the upcoming activities that are in store. And as the saying goes, it doesn't take one person to achieve something. It doesn't take two people to achieve something. It takes the whole nation to achieve something. And we are so happy to see how the Progress Community Living Toronto has been doing because of our staff, because of the people we support, because of everybody else, because it takes the whole nation to achieve something. Thank you so much, Flora and Athena, for that. And that brings us to the end of our webinar today. And many thanks to all our presenters. It was a pleasure to have you with us and to hear all the updates. And thank you so much, Mary, for joining us, and Brad for that Community Unplugged segment. It was very insightful, and a special thanks to all of you. Our next Family and Friends update is going to be in October, and we'll share the registration details closer to the date. Wishing you a wonderful summer. Let's keep making a difference. Every kind word, thoughtful action, and moment of support help to create an inclusive community, and it takes the whole nation to achieve something. Thank you so much.